Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the FIDE Women's World Championship. It is game 5. We are almost halfway through the tournament and it is deadlocked at the moment. It is 2-2. Two amazing games of chess in a row. Long battles. After the first two games, we've got a win for Wenjun, a win for Zhongyi, and 2 draws. Today, though, someone took the lead. And it was an incredibly dominant performance. With that, we look into the game. Wenjun has once again got the white pieces. Remember, this is the penultimate game in Shanghai before they travel over to Zhongyi, which is the home of Zhongyi. Wenjun persists with e4, and we get another Sicilian defense. Knight to f3, e6, d4, cd4, knight d4, and we get a6. Now, we don't get what was played in the previous games, which I believe was knight f6. And now we get bishop to d3, a revisit of the system. It was played in game 1. A reminder, video is on the channel. You can go have a look. Bishop to c5 gets played. And now I get knight to b3, dropping back. It hits the bishop, so the bishop retreats, keeping it on this nice long diagonal for attacking opportunities in the future. Castles, knight e7, and c4. Wenjun has enjoyed this move and the system. I believe she's played it now twice, where you're just controlling d5 with these pawns, and it's like a Marozzi bind structure. Knight to c6, knight to c3, and now very interesting from Zhongyi. She jumps her knight into the center. The players haven't spent much time at all. This is fully prep from Zhongyi. Wenjun once again a little bit behind. So the knight jumps into the center, it hits the bishop, but we ignore that and we play a very interesting move, c5, cutting off this bishop. Now we get knight 7 to g6, because it was on the 7th rank and they're both on the e-file, so we get this knight going out this way. And it's always interesting when you put knights like this, because they could become targets for flank pawns. But the question is, does Wenjun want to do that and go and target that knight? Because at the moment it's going to be hanging. So now she drops her bishop back. And now, important from Zhongyi, she's already started to think. She spent 11 minutes on knight 7 to g6. And she blitzes out the following move. And it's not good. She blitzes out b5. And it's a mistake. For a couple of moves, it's just a bad move. You can play b6. You cannot play b5. Like, the pawn can go 1 square, not 2 squares. It's a very strange scenario. But here the best move is f4, or bishop to e3, king h1, getting out of this, and just letting black take this. So why b5? I don't know, because now the pawn's still protected. You're not attacking it. And f4, kicking the knight out the center. The pin no longer exists because you... Sorry about that. Knight jumps now out of the way after being hit with f4 to c4. And now we get a4. This is the critical move that Wenjun finds. And it is, I don't know why it's not classified as a great move. It's not the only move, but it is the move that gives a huge advantage. The only other thing that could compare is maybe queen to d4, getting the queen nice and centralized. But a4 is a spectacular move. We get b4 now, targeting the knight. You can't let the a-file open up for the rook. But we remove this knight, takes, and now, very important, you can play queen to d4 again. You can say you can take this, because I believe here you just take this. Well, that loses some advantage. Probably the best move is... Yeah, no, bishop takes b2 is the best move. This is what you want. You get this going. Instead, we get bc3, which loses quite a bit of her advantage. And now we get bishop b7. Which again, it's not a mistake. It does give some of the advantage, a little bit more to Wenjun, but it's a sensible move. You can't really open up your bishop to come out this way, so you are fianchetting it effectively on this way. Except it doesn't really have a house. There's an open b file, going to be staring at it in just a moment. And now queen to e2 from Wenjun, which the engine has since classed as a mistake. In real time, doesn't look anything to be wrong with it. You are simply just attacking that pawn twice and centralizing your queen. So you can't really blame her for that. She's down on time again, but she's got a very good position with her. Castles, and now we drop the bishop back. You can't take immediately because there's tactics on the king. What do I mean by that? Well, there's this. So takes, 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 check. Oops. So you can't win the pawn just yet. So we drop the bishop back to protect the center, and f5. I do not understand f5. Wenjun has played provocatively. She's invited an attack. f5 is crazy. Absolutely crazy. We get takes, takes, and simply bishop e3. A sensible move here, queen to c7. You would think queen to c7 makes sense. Not really. The engine much prefers rook e8, pinning the bishop to the queen. So you can't go on scavenger hunts there just yet because your own bishop is going to be hanging and in the crossfire. Alternatively, king h8, getting off of this diagonal is going to be very important, and you'll see why in just a moment, because after queen to c7, we can just grab this pawn. And it's very important because, like, I was calculating, I was like, but don't you have this where takes, don't you have sacrifices? You don't, because firstly, the queen can come back and protect the bishop. Secondly, come back and win the bishop because you've got the open king and it'll be picking up the bishop. So very important that you should have got your king out the way. So now we get rook e8, but we can take, and give this check. King gets forced into the corner. At some point, I don't know if it was just on low depth, it thought king f8 is better. It still thinks king f8 is the best move for black in this position, which to me is absolutely insane. Absolutely crazy. But yes, so king h8. Most logical move, what all of us would play. I think what makes this interesting is Tanjoni is up on time. Like, she's worse and she's up on time, which is not something you associate with chess. But Wenjun, using her time effectively, centralizes her bishop, pointing at the king. We look to double rooks. A calm waiting move there, h3, because there is still going to be counterplay created by black. Black is still going to look to be creating counterplay. So we double the rooks. And here, I don't know why, we sacrificed the knight. It took a long time. It took her a long time to think of this. She spent 13 minutes. You'll see she was up 39 minutes to 26. Time's now level. Take. And here, rook e1. And this move from Wenjun, ice cold, rook f1. Ice cold blue, that great move. Bring the rook back. You trade the rooks. Yes, the queen comes in. It's not scary. It's not scary at all. These two pieces will beat this rook, and we've got an outside passed a-pawn and a weak king here. White is cooking. Wenjun is cooking. King g1, ice cold. We can give a check. King h2. Rook e1. It looks dangerous. Looks so deceiving. Queen to d5. We give our king some lift so there's no back rank problems. And now we get knight d2. Check. King gets forced up. Check. We block with the bishop. Queen slides up. We're protecting our bishop and our knight. Rook pins the knight to the queen. And now we defend that. King comes up. And we push the pawn. That pawn's going to be the difference. We're double attacking the bishop. We move the bishop out the way. Threat of repetition? No. Knight c4. Rook goes to a1. And now we're infiltrating and we are causing massive problems. When you take this, you are threatening mate. So it must be dealt with. So we bring the rook to threaten our own problems. Black gets to your king first. Bishop f2. Absolutely incredible from Wenjun. The queen comes back to defend both threats. But queen f4. Every time you think you defend a threat, I create another. King to g6 and king h2. This, for me, is such a classy move because you know you're dominant at this point. They've been at the board hours. They've gotten past move 40. They've got an extra time. This move is so cool, calm, and collected. It is an incredible move. It's a move that's really hard to make, but the idea, you're going to slide the queen back. You're going to bring in the bishop to cause problems, but you've got time. You can make a king move because there's no threats to you. Then you can bring in the bishop. Most people would be tempted maybe to start with the bishop, which is 100% something you can do, but your king's exposed. Tuck it away. You've got time. Anyway. King to h2. Enough bragging about moving a king. That's not what I wanted. Queen to f6 was what I wanted. Queen to f6. Knight to c4. King gets tucked away. And now we attack the queen with the bishop. It slides over to e6. It hits the knight. Knight jumps forward. There was conversations of where the knight belonged. It jumps forward. We go back to g6, threatening problems. Queen to f3. A nice move here, f4. You can't take because you get mated on g2, but we can play a6. I said that pawn would be decisive. It is decisive because takes plus 6. Plus 6. Rook a2 creating the same threat. Queen f3. I thought Zhongyi would resign here. But no, we play on. Queen e6. We jump the knight in. It is now threatening the g-pawn. Here, knight to e3. There was a couple of moves you could have gone back. Obviously, there was to e3, but there was also to g6. And the commentators were looking at all sorts of things. It was a very fascinating position from an attacking side. It's bleak for black. It is really bleak. Now we are threatening the queen infiltrating and basically mating this king. So the rook, after we slide the pawn forward, the rook has to go back. We bring in the knight. Check. King slides over. And we end the game in style. Knight e7 check. Brilliant move. And Wenjun ends the game in style. A sacrifice of the knight. It is a fork. And when you take, it is check. The only way not to get mated is to go here. And then we go here. And we hit both. And this pawn will come in and promote. And the king is mated. Knight to e7. Book stamps this game. A clinic from Wenjun. She was dominant the whole game. The moment b5 got played, Zhongyi was in trouble. She made one mistake, a second mistake. It's not the first mistake that kills you. If here she had played knight c6, if she had played knight to c6, simply gone back, maybe this game ends differently. If she had played b6 instead of b5, this game could end differently. And if she doesn't play f5, f5 to me is where this game was lost. It was lost in several moments. Maybe she was rattled. f5 in 12 minutes of thought. Because here, you can play queen e7. It's a bad move later, but queen c7 here makes sense. You're targeting multiple things. It's a good move. You can also play d6, targeting this pawn again, trying to open up this bishop. That's this whole thing. Your bishop is here. You never got to use it. This whole game happened. That bishop, apart from one or two tactical opportunities, it never got opened up to be useful. It just stayed there the whole time until it sacrificed itself on a completely different square. And then once we traded these rooks, it was completely worse. It's +3 here. And Wenjun is up 2 points of material. So she's up the 2 points, and she's up a further point on top of that. It's not just a material disadvantage. You've got an outside pass pawn. This double pawn structure, as ugly as it looks, the bishop defends that pawn, and it's anchoring this bishop in. It was incredible. And from here, Wenjun, like a Terminator, great move. Didn't allow any counterplay whatsoever. Despite Zhongyi's best efforts, her king was never in danger. They threatened a small repetition. I think that was mostly just to get to the time control. And from there, the knight jumped around a lot. Lots of knight jumping. The queen defended the king like it was meant to do. We weakened the king. We invoked mistakes. And we end the game in style. Knight e7. Brilliant move. An absolute clinic from the world champion who comes back. She was a game down. She's now a game up. She will take the lead 3-2 heading into game 6. Get out of here.